And have there been, you mentioned earlier that people aren't remembering, we don't remember things we read on screens. Are there studies that show
Yeah,
this?
there are. Yeah, there are super interesting studies that show that basically when you put, if you give two different groups of people that roughly have the same skills, so you're basically focus grouping, and you give them an article and you have them read it on a screen, and then you give them the article in paper, the people who read it in paper remember it 10 days later much better. Um, Mainly because they also remember they can visually cue themselves, so they remember that when they were reading it they were sitting in this chair and there was a clock above them. They can actually in their mind's eye they have fuller contextualized memory of what they read, which helps their memory get cemented. But the other thing that they're finding is that not only do they remember more, but they remember better. So
Mm.
when you read something on a screen, a lot of times, and this has whole sorts of, that has a lot of implications, obviously, for discourse, right? Even an hour later, we're finding that people who read articles like literally remember things completely wrong.
Wow.
And so then the question isn't only what you're remembering, but again, this is the thing that I want to say. None of us are going to get our news from paper. Like, that's not a world we live in. We live in a
Right.
world where we want the news instantaneously and we can get it, and there's no reason not to, right? For a magazine like Tablet or places that are supposed to make you think more deeply and understand the world that you're in, that to me is where paper comes in.
Yeah.
Because I don't need you to get your news from paper or from
Right.
carrier pigeon, right? But I do need you to get your understanding of that news. There's a basically like a distinction that I used to make between different kinds of media. Newspapers, in my mind, were a hot medium, meaning you were supposed to get it, throw it down on your kitchen table and be like, I'm going out to protest, to vote for someone, to fix that pothole, to whatever. Like, you're supposed to act. It was heated. Magazines were a cool medium. They were contemplative. They were supposed to they were supposed to change your thinking and your feeling over time. To me, the internet's a super hot medium. And I don't know that we should be doing at least all of our thinking about politics, society, the arts on this very, very white hot screen.
Yeah.